So the brother went and looked, and he said, I see below a score of stout men at arms, and a knight just dismounting from his horse. He is dressed in long robes of grey which, methinkest, are of poor seeming, but the horse he rideth upon hath the rich cursing that ever I saw. The knight dismounts, and they came this way, and are even now below in the great hall. Lo, see ye thee now, quoth Prior Vincent. Here ye have a knight with so lean a purse as scarce to buy him a crust of bread to munch. Yet he keeps a band of retainers and puts rich trappings upon his horse's right, while his own back groweth bare. Is it not well that such men should be brought low? But art thou sure, said the little doctor tremulously, that this knight will do us no harm, such as he as are fearance when crossed, and he hath a band of naughty men at his heels? Mayhaps thou hadst better give an extension of his depth. Thus he spake, for he was afraid Sir Richard might do him a harm. Thou needest no fear, said the prior, looking down at the little man beside him. This knight is gentle, and would so soon think of harming an old woman as thee. As the prior finished, a door at the lower end of the factory swung open, and in came Sir Richard with folded hands and head bowed upon his breast. Thus humbly he walked slowly up the hall, while his men-at-arms stood about the door. When he had come to where the prior sat, he knelt upon one knee. Save and keep thee, Sir Prior, said he. I come to keep my day. Then the first words that the prior said to him was, Hast thou brought me my money? Alas, I have not so much as one penny upon my body, said the knight, whereat the prior is ike sparked. Now thou art a shred debtor, I vote, said he. Then, Sir Sheriff, I drink to thee. But still the knight knelt upon the hard stones, so the prior turned to him again. What wouldst thou have? Quoth he sharply. At these words a slow red mounted into the knight's cheeks, but still he knelt. I would crave thy mercy, said he. As thou hopest for far heaven's mercy, show mercy to me. Strip me not of my lands, and so reduce a true knight to poverty. Thy day is broken, and thy lands for 5, said the man of law, plucking up his spirits at the knight's humble speech. Quoth Sir Richard, Thou man of law, wilt thou not be friend me in mine hour of need? Nay, said the other, I hold with this holy prior, who hath paid me my fees in hard gold, so that I am bounder to him. Wilt thou not be my friend, Sir Sheriff? Said Sir Richard. Nay, for heavens, quoth the Sheriff of Nottingham, this is no business of mine, yet I will do what I may. And he nudged the prior beneath the cloth with his knee. Wilt thou not ease him of some of his debts, Sir Prior? At this the prior smiled grimly. Pay me 300 pounds, Sir Richard, said he, and I will give thee quittance of thy debt. Thou knowest, Sir Prior, that it is as easy for me to pay 400 pounds as thee 100, said Sir Richard. But wilt thou not give me another 12 months to pay my debt? Not another day, said the prior sternly. And this is all thou wilt do for me? Asked the knight. Now out of thee, false knight, cried the prior, bursting forth from anger. Either pay thy debt as I said, or release thy land and get thee gone from out of my hall. Then Sir Richard arose to his feet. "Thou false lying priest," said he in so stern a voice that the man of law shrunk afraid. "I am no false knight, as thou knowest full well, but have even held my place in the press and the tourney. Hast thou so little courtesy that thou wouldst see a true knight kneel for all his time, or see him come into thy hall and never offer him meat or drink?" Then quoth the man of law in a trembling voice, "This is surely an ill way to talk of matters appertaining to business. Let us be mild in speech. What wilt thou pay this knight, Sir Prior, to give thee release of his land?" "I would have given him 200 pounds, quoth the prior, "but since he hath spoken so vilely to my teeth, not one groat over 100 pounds will he get." "Hast thou offered me 1,000 pounds, false prior?" said the knight. "Thou wouldst not have got an inch of my land." Then turning to where his men-at-arms stood near the door, he called, "Come hither," and beckoned with his finger, whereupon the tallest of them all came forward and handed him a long leathered bag. Sir Richard took the bag, and shot from it upon the table a glittering steam of golden money. "Bear in mind, Sir Prior," said he, "that thou hast promised me quittance for 300 pounds. Not one farthing above that shalt thou get." So saying, he counted out 300 pounds and pushed it towards the prior. But now the prior's hands dropped at his sides, and the prior's head hung up on his shoulder. For not only had he lost all hopes of that land, but he had forgiven the knight 100 pounds of his debt, and had necessarily paid that man of law 80 angels. To him he turned, and quoth he, "Give me back my money that thou hast." "Nay," cried the other shrillingly, "it is but my fee that thou didst pay, and thou gettest it not back again." And he hugged his gown about him. "Now, Sir Prior," quoth Sir Richard, "I have held my day and paid all the dues demanded of me. So, as there is no more betwixt us, I leave this vile place straight away." So saying, he turned upon his heels and strode away. All this time the sheriff had been staring with wide open eyes and mouth agape at the tall man-at-arms, who stood as though carved out of stone. At least, he grasped out Reynold Greenleaf. At this, the tall man-at-arms, who was no other than Little John, turned grinning to the sheriff. "I give thee good den, fair gossip," quoth he. "I would say, sweet sheriff, that I have heard all thy pretty talk this day, and it shall be duly told up on Robin Hood. So farewell for the nonce, till we meet again in Sherwood Forest." Then he also turned and followed Sir Richard down the hall, leaving the sheriff, all pale and amazed, shrunk together up on his chair. A merry feast it was to which Sir Richard came, but a sorry lot too left behind him, and little hunger had they for the princely food spread before them. Only the learned doctor was happy, for he had his fee. Now a 12-month and a day passed, since Prior Vincent of Emmet sat at feast, and once more the mellow fall of another year had come. But the year had brought great change, I vow, to the lands of Sir Richard of the Lee, for where before sluggy wild grasses grew up on the meadow lands, now all stretch away in golden stubble, betokening that a rich and plentiful crop had been gathered therefrom. A year had made a great change in the castle, also, for where were empty moats, and the clumping of neglect, all was now orderly and well kept.